Adapting to life in your new country can be difficult. In this video, we will look at things you need to do and also be aware of that may help you settle into your new Australian home. Hi, I'm Buki Adelaja, and you're watching another episode on the Youenrol channel. Our mission is to make your life easier by being your go-to destination for up-to-date information about studying, living and working in Australia without you having to pay costly consultant fees no matter where you are in the world. Before we begin, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Also, click the bell icon so that you don't miss out on our new videos when they're released. When moving to a new country, it's impossible not to create a picture in your head of exactly how your new life will be. Unfortunately though, sometimes that transition may not be as smooth as you would like it to be. And the reality is that some do struggle to adapt to their new surroundings. In order to help you adapt to your new life in Australia, we will look at those things that can make the settling in process easier and less stressful, from mastering the language to getting your driver's license. Cost to move to Australia. If you're applying for a working holiday visa in Australia, it's expected that you will have enough funds to support yourself for 1 to 2 months until you're able to secure work. This is approximately 5,000 Australian dollars. You may have to provide documentation during your visa application of these available funds. If you are applying for a visa and are already sponsored, this amount or criteria may differ due to you being already employed. Cost of living in Australia. Generally speaking, Australia is an affordable place to live for many. However, whether or not the cost of living here is suitable for you will depend on your lifestyle, your spending habits, and your employment prospects in Australia. Where you choose to live will also influence how much it will cost you to live down under. According to the Australian Bureau of Statistics 2009 Household Expenditure Survey and Information, the average household is estimated to spend almost $70,000 on general household living costs each year. To put this more into a location-based context, the average weekly spend for a New South Wales household is about $1,200, while for Western Australian household, they spend about the same amount per week. Australia's consumer price index excluding rent is about $114. Depending on the size of your family and your personal taste, this means that you can expect to pay between $80 and $200 per week on groceries and eating out, and weekly phone and internet costs between $20 and $50. Rent can be quite expensive in Australia's capital cities, with properties in popular suburbs of capital cities being in higher demand and therefore having a higher price. Learning English and the IELTS test. If you are not already aware, English is the language spoken in Australia. You need to have functional English to obtain a visa, but learning English is also crucial to help you settle into your new environment. Mastering the local language will help you to meet new people, perform simple tasks like buying groceries, and greatly enhance your employment prospects. To prove that you have functional English and can therefore qualify for a visa, you need to provide a proof of your competency. These include a positive assessment by an adult migrant English program service provider in Australia that you have functional English. AMEP provides up to 510 hours of free English language tuition to help you to settle in Australia. Completion of 4 years of primary education and at least 3 years of secondary education in an educational institution in or outside Australia where all instructions were given in English. Completion of a minimum of 5 years of secondary education in an institution in or outside Australia where all instructions were given in English. However, the most popular way to prove that you have functional English is to take an international English language testing system called IELTS test and achieve an average band score of at least 4.5. The test has 4 components: speaking, reading, listening, and writing, and you must complete the test within 12 months of lodging your visa application or while your application is being processed. The test takes up to 2 hours and 45 minutes to complete, with the possibility of completing the speaking test separately to other 3 components. There are 2 different IELTS tests available: an academic test for those who want to study at a tertiary level, and a general training test for those who want to do work experience, complete a training program, or migrate to an English-speaking country. In order to prepare for the test, you can order the official IELTS practice materials online or at your test center. These explain the test format in detail, and also they provide you with the practice tests and answers. In addition, certain universities and training institutions offer you courses to help you prepare for the IELTS test. Keeping in touch with family and friends. Australia might sometimes seem like it's a long way away from everywhere else, but keeping in touch with your loved ones back home is easier than ever before. The world is becoming increasingly connected with services like Skype, international phone plans, and global roaming. You can maintain constant contact with the people you love. Just remember to keep track of the time zone differences when phoning home. International driver's license. Australia requires that all drivers obtain a license and have their motor vehicle registered with the government. The state and territory governments issue driver's licenses and vehicle registrations, and driving without either is an offense. The treatment of your foreign driver's license will vary depending on the state or territory in which you live, as well as your permanent residency status. Generally, however, visitors and temporary residents may use their current foreign license for as long as it's valid, with a formal translation of that license into English if applicable. However, if you're a permanent resident, it's common that states will require that you hold their state-specific driver's license, typically within 3 months residency in the ACT, South Australia, Tasmania, Queensland and Western Australia, and 6 months residency in New South Wales and Victoria. Certain states will also accept an International Driving Permit (IDP), which can be obtained from the country where the original license was issued, or an English translation of the license if applicable. The Northern Territory in particular requires that overseas visitors hold both their current foreign license as well as an IDP to legally be allowed to drive. However, as with other states and territories, after the driver has been in the country for 3 months, they will be required to obtain a Northern Territory license if they wish to continue driving in the territory. Of course, you must only drive vehicles which your overseas license entitles you to drive. You must follow all of your state's road rules and regulations. You must not have been disqualified from driving, and you must not hold a suspended, cancelled, expired or otherwise withdrawn license. As a resident, if you don't hold a foreign license, you will have to pass a driver knowledge test in order to receive a learner's permit. You may then continue through Australia's provisional licenses, which if successful, will award you with a full license to drive. In most cases, New Zealand driver's licenses will be treated as like interstate licenses and may not be subject to time restrictions. However, you may be required to transfer your license to a state-specific license. Support for migrants in Australia. Generally speaking, the vast majority of Australians welcome migrants with open arms. Ours is a multicultural country that people of all different backgrounds and races call home. And new arrivals can find a place for themselves and their families in this wide brown land. The 2011 census revealed that there were 5.3 million migrants in Australia, which means more than a quarter of the population were born overseas. The recent Arrivals Survey and the Local Area Survey studied the experience of recent migrants to Australia. 81% of respondents were happy with life in Australia. Anyone who has ever moved to a new country will know that it can often help to be around fellow expats when you settle in a country. This can help you overcome the pangs of homesickness, get advice from people who have migrated before you, and also help you to stay in touch with your culture and heritage. Large groups of migrants from different countries tend to group together in different parts of the country. For example, Melbourne has a large Greek population. Parramatta is home to plenty of Indian expats, while a large number of British expats now call Perth home. There are also plenty of support structures and services in place for new arrivals. Each state government offers assistance to all its residents, including everything from help with finding housing to assistance with health services. In some areas, independent bodies have been set up to help new arrivals to settle in. For example, the Migrant Resource Centre of South Australia. The Red Cross can also offer emergency relief to new arrivals experiencing financial hardship. In terms of federal government assistance, the Department of Human Services offers a one-off crisis payment to new migrants who are in desperate need of financial assistance. Other government programs include the Assessment Subsidy for Overseas Trained Professional Program, which will help you to qualify to work in Australia, the Adult Migrant English Program to help you learn English, and the Assurance of Support Scheme to ensure you won't have to rely on income support payments when you arrive in Australia. Hope you found the information in this video useful. Do leave your questions and your comments in the comment section below this video. If you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, click the bell icon to find when we release new videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.